So you just graduated architecture. You're one step closer to getting the architect in front of your name, but you don't know where to get your work experience. So today I'll be explaining pretty much everything in my tiny brain, what you need to know about the architecture apprenticeships in the Philippines. Yo, what's up everybody? My name is Patrick. I'm an architecture graduate. I make videos about architecture, quirky tech, and unnecessary knowledge. So if you're into that, make sure to subscribe for more content like this. So today we're going to be talking about the Architecture Apprenticeship or the Diversified Architectural Experience. It is a post-baccalaureate pre-licensure experience one has to undergo for at least 2 years or exactly 3,840 hours. Almost forgot. Basically, this is your work experience before being eligible for the architecture licensure exam. There are 2 ways to go about this. It's by applying in an architecture firm or becoming an architect's apprentice. There's another way, but it only sheds 1 year, I think. It's going for the master's in architecture, but we're not going to talk about that because I haven't done any research about it. We're going to be talking about the differences between going to an architecture firm and becoming an apprentice. Basically, just pros and cons based off of my experience and the experiences of my friends. How to look for a firm or a mentor via a job application or referral. Number 3, what should you be opting for? Pause. By the way, this is based off of interviews I've conducted with my fellow architecture apprentices, so some may vary depending on situations that aren't in the scope of my knowledge. Alright, let's talk about the differences between going to an architecture firm and becoming an architect's apprentice. To make this easier to digest, let us compare this situation to the hit TV show Suits. Imagine you be Rachel Zane or Harold Gunderson and I'll be Harvey Specter.
Ask Michael Jordan what one guy he ever feared. It was Akeem Olajuwon.
Ready? Okay, what was the client asking? So the client wants another residential building in Cebu. He wants a 3-story building with an infinity pool, and it's on a hillside. If he just wanted a hillside house with an infinity pool, why haven't he just contacted our partners at Monterraz's Prime? Huh? Architect na actor pa, let's go. Di pa ako architect though. Apprentice pa lang. Anyway, architecture apprenticeship is pretty much like paralegals or associates, but in the architecture world, we call ourselves junior architects or draftsmen or apprentice. It depends on the job description you applied for. You basically do the research on the given project, render schematic output to be presented to the client, and overall do everything I as the architect will tell you to do. Some are given desk work, like Mike Cross when Harvey gives him a mountain of pro bonos, or in our situation, design schematics. You get to know every minute detail you need to know about in the blueprints, every inch, every schedule, every blow up, but you don't get to experience this firsthand on site. Hey Mike, are you doing the Saudi project I told you to finish? I'm finishing your Dubai project. I'm just gonna do the rendering in a bit. I don't care, just get it done, put it on my desk tomorrow. Okay, don't worry. And some apprentices are given site work, or in Suits, you get to go to court. You get to help the architect in charge of construction to oversee the overall construction of said project. A good thing is you get to experience everything firsthand on how the construction phase works. You get assigned a site to visit every day, but some apprentices are given multiple sites to visit or to oversee the construction. No 2 buildings are the same, so you get exposed to multiple projects at once, but you don't get to focus on the minute detail of each phase of construction. For example, formworks, cement pouring, truss installation, and other parts. Some are assigned to one site, so that's a plus. You get to ask the architect or the laborer, as well as experience everything firsthand. I, for one, when I was in charge of construction, I would often ask the laborers. Sometimes I would sleep because no sleep. I would ask the laborers on how they would do it. So yeah, make sure to ask questions for you to progress in the architecture world. A con I see in going for an architecture firm, if you're an apprentice, when it comes for you to apply for the architecture licensures exam, no one will sign your logbook. This is prominent in international firms. For some reason, international firms, please hire me, please. So you need your logbook signed by an architect who is willing to testify that you have done your 2 years of work experience. Also, might I add, pay is great, depending on the situation, but pay is great. Now we go to the Architect's Apprentice. You're my cross, I'm still Harvey Specter. You get to be my associate this time. You get to learn everything that I know, how I run things, pretty much how I do things to make our clients happy. You get to do everything and absorb everything. For example, you can be the lead designer for a specific project, work on structural, electrical, plumbing, 3D rendering. You run and get our work document signed by the building official from DOLE or Department of Labor and Employment. You get to go to a hardware store to look for a specific material to be used on site, and site work. And might I add, you can just consult your mentor one-on-one if you have troubles with specific problems. You get to embrace everything together with your mentor, every problem, every solution, every site visit, and you get paid depending on the project your mentor is currently working on. So make sure to be an apprentice to someone who has a lot of projects. Anyway, one downside to having an architect that has multiple projects is that you can't focus on one specific project. You will be assigned to visit multiple sites, especially if you are their only apprentice. Let's say on site 1, it's stair assembly or buhos na. Site 2, there's like stacking of points. And site 3 is formworks. You don't get to ask how the laborers do everything. But when I was an apprentice, I would ask the laborers on how they would do it. I remember on the first day of site work, I asked my mentor and the engineer, like, how do they do the stacking? I would often ask, so make sure to ask during site work, because in the long run, you're going to be using this for your practice. By the way, it may sound exhausting, pero trust me, it's a great experience. Kasi you get to experience everything firsthand, you get to ask questions, you get to see how everything is installed, from schematics to work documents getting signed to the construction phase and to like the turnover. Alright, let's move on to how to look for a firm or a mentor. Let's start with the firms. It really depends on what you want to do in the firm, because some firms offer, for example, doing the schematics like outputs using AutoCAD or Revit. Some offer on-site construction junior architects, and others offer architectural renderers, for example, like exterior design or interior designers, and for preparation as well. You need to know what you want to do specifically, what you want your niche to be. But I know some architect friends that are in large firms right now that do most of the grunt work. So it really depends on the situation and on the firm. Make sure to know everything about the firm, the history, the employee situation, like the work environment, if it's okay. If you know a friend who previously worked there, that's a plus. You can ask them how everything works there, and the overall package that they want to provide you for your work. You can browse Facebook, LinkedIn, JobStreet, and other connections just for you to get a job opportunity. Just be on the lookout always. And be friends with other apprentices, because you never know, maybe they have an opening in their respective firms. Malay mo yung plinastikan mo last week, naghahanap pala ng apprentice ngayon. Kaya just be nice to everybody. Be friends with everybody. Alright? In general, hindi lang sa paghanap ng trabaho, be nice. Let's now move on to the mentors. Pretty much same with the firms. Make sure to know everything about the architect, their past work, their architectural style, and how much they pay. Ask previous apprentices on their experience working with that mentor. By the way, a pro tip, if you are very social, make sure to socialize on convention or events near you on construction or architecture. For example, here in Bicol, there was a convention years ago called Bicol mechanics, all allied professionals in the construction world attended to browse new innovations to the construction. Even events university, some architects would show up because sometimes they would sponsor the booze. Kidding, kidding. Pero be you guys. Know what their niches are on architecture. May it be commercial or interior design or residential. Make sure it aligns with what you want to do or what you want to know about the profession. So yeah, know the firm or the architect you want to apply for. What should you be opting for? This is based off of my experience, by the way. Anyway, if you want to expand your knowledge on a specific angle on architecture, handle pretty much everything being thrown at you, from the schematics to confirming with the client, to submitting work documents, I would suggest opting for the Architect's Apprentice. It will give you knowledge you would never have known had you gone to an architecture firm. Plus, you get to meet a lot of people on each phase. For example, on the building official, you get to meet the assistant there. On like printing, you get to meet the guy who prints everything there. That's a plus. Also, you get to meet your mentor's friends. Maybe they can refer you to them to give you more work. But if you want to try and experience being a part of a big group of architects and allied professionals, be given a part of a project to work on, collaborating with everyone, I would suggest apply to an architecture firm. Because who knows, maybe the architect will assign you to make the actual project from start to finish. That's gonna be a good boost in your confidence, and that would be a good or a great experience on a high level. So there you have it. So Architecture Apprenticeships has their pros and cons, but hopefully I have given you a rough idea on which is which and what type of apprenticeship you would want to go for. Comment down below what key points I've missed. Let's talk about it in the comments. I'm down for a conversation. Hopefully this doesn't affect my job applications. Please, please. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. Anyway, alright, thank you everybody for watching. We are currently at 150 subs. Woo! And thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye.